DocTalk is brought to you by Merck Animal Health, the science of healthier animals.
Folks, welcome to the show today. Thanks for joining us on DocTalk. It's going to be a great show. We're going to talk about human resources and animal health. My guest, Dr. Nels Lindberg from Great Bend, Kansas. He's the owner and operator of Animal Medical Center. It's going to be a great show. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned after these messages.
As dependable as the sunrise, in dairy parlors, open pastures, on ranches and feed yards across America. A place where reputation is more than a name, where the science of healthier animals is a way of life. It's the responsibility that drives who we are and what we do. Every decision, every day. It's your livelihood and our responsibility.
Closed captioning brought to you by AgriLabs, the perfect pairing of performance and value.
This segment brought to you by the new Hired Hand Portable Cow Sprayer. For more information, visit cowsprayer.com.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. Here's my good friend, colleague, Dr. Nels Lindberg. He's from Animal Medical Center down at Great Bend, Kansas. And let's just talk a little bit about what you do and some of the business, because you got a lot of different businesses, a lot of different interactions within the industry. What are some of the things that you have going on?
Well, as you know, we have Animal Medical Center at Great Bend. That's kind of our primary business. Within that business, we have a lab testing business for cattle that we test, cattle for BVD. Along the way, we've become a partner in production animal consultation that a group of us formed: Dr. Wade Taylor, Tom Knopfsinger, Corbin Stevens, Kip Lucas Savage, Doug Ford. Part of that's just strictly our consulting business.
For feedlots and dairies and even some swine operations, right?
Yeah, actually, if I remember right, it's like 8 of the 30 largest swine operations in the world that Dr. Jim Lowe, a partner, takes care of, and then Doug Ford on the dairy side, mostly in Colorado on the dairy side, but yeah, all proteins.
And nearly 25% of the fed cattle.
A pretty big number, not quite that much, but we oversee shy of 20% of the cattle on feed in the U.S.
And I think it's important for people to understand the depth and breadth of which you and your group are participating, because you see a lot. We're going to talk about human resources and their impact on animal health, and you see it every day.
Sure.
And you see it on big farms and small farms, whether it's in your practice around Great Bend or whether it's covering feed yards with 10, 20, 30,000 or more head of cattle.
Correct. I mean, as a veterinarian, we're scientists, but when you start consulting feed yards or have your own practice or businesses, animal health is a big part of what we do, but it's only about 50% of what we do. People are the other 50%, and however you become involved in guiding those operations and dealing with those people can wind up being a significant part of your day, or maybe not. But as with our consulting group, that's part of kind of the path I've gone down is some management development, leadership development. But really that became out of necessity to me in all my failures in my practice and trying to lead and grow a practice and knowing where I wanted to go, but not being able to get there.
Probably starts out with picking the right person, doesn't it?
Well, that's right. The right person, but more importantly, the right person in the right seat on the bus. You can have the right person, but if you don't have them on the right seat on the bus, you can set them up to fail.
Right. Having a good person, putting them in the wrong job, something they don't equipped to do or not good at, then they're not going to get things done.
That's right. You set them up to fail, and you got to be able to realize when they're on the right seat and when they're on the wrong seat, and that can be a challenge, but that's part of what we do every day.
Cool. Well, let's take a break. When we come back from the break, we're going to get into some of the intricacies with Dr. Nels Lindberg from Great Bend, Kansas, about things that we're going to look for in human resources and how that can have an impact on animal health on your beef operation or dairy or swine. You're watching Doc Talk. More from out here in the country after these messages.
This Prevention Works Minute, brought to you by Beringer Ingelheim Vet Medica, Inc.
Hey folks, welcome to our Prevention Works Minute. This is an outstanding segment, and I'm really glad that we're getting to do this when we talk about preventative medicine for cattle. Biosecurity is important, and a good key component to that is vaccination. When we vaccinate an animal, one thing you need to understand is that they do not work immediately. Matter of fact, it takes 7 to 14 days before the animal, once it's vaccinated, to actually start having an immune response that produces antibodies that are specific for a disease in which we would vaccinate them for. So if I vaccinate a calf for IBR, it's 7 to 14 days before that animal is protected or has antibody to neutralize IBR virus. Once we get out there to 14 to 21 days, the body has memory cells for IBR. That's why we give them a booster, and we get that booster in our titer response. Vaccines don't work immediately, but they're really good for prevention.
Say this is a calf that's been run through the chute a few too many times. Going through the chute stresses cattle, causing them not to eat like they should. Luckily, Pyramid 5 plus Presponse SQ provides proven protection against key respiratory diseases in a single shot, with just one trip through the chute. Talk to your veterinarian about Pyramid 5 plus Presponse SQ, and soon your calves will relax and eat like a whole different animal.
Do your cattle struggle with pink eye, BRD, or another disease? Contact Newport Laboratories for a customized solution. Our custom-made vaccines are produced using the specific diseases found in your area. These USDA licensed vaccines offer potential cost savings on vaccine and labor. Contact your veterinarian or Newport Laboratories the next time your cattle are in need of a custom solution. Newport Laboratories custom-made vaccine, because every situation is different.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment brought to you by the new Hired Hand Portable Cow Sprayer. For more information, visit cowsprayer.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to Doc Talk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with my friend and colleague, Dr. Nels Lindberg. He is a veterinarian, and he's the owner and operator of Animal Medical Center in Great Bend, Kansas. He's also a partner in production animal consultation, does a lot of things with feed yards and veterinary practice. Probably one of the most progressive veterinarians I know. And we're talking about animal resources and the impact on animal health. And I think everybody out there, whether it's a farm, a ranch, anybody running a business, is how do we hire people? And what are some of the things we go through on hiring people and keeping them there and that. But just kind of walk through, because you've gone through a lot with human resources and hiring people into your operation. What are some of the steps you go through in that process?
Well, so, as I routinely say, a lot of how I've gotten to where I've gotten is through failure and learning from my mistakes and failures. And the hiring process is similar for a veterinary operation or as it is for a farming operation or a feed yard or cow-calf ranch, whatever it might be. And oftentimes in a smaller business, we find ourselves, we may put out an ad or we may not put out an ad, and we oftentimes hire the first person that comes in the door. And we just, hey, fill out an app, let's visit a little bit, interview, and don't really ask the right questions, but we end up just going ahead and hiring them. And those things don't end up right, and we don't hire the right person. So first of all, in terms of, when you go to hire somebody is don't hire the first person that comes in the door. We really want to try and get a broader sweep and have multiple applicants, and that may or may not be possible. If it's possible, that's the route you want to go, and of course the application process, whatever. But the next part is the interview process, and
Right.
and you really want to spend more than one interview, and multiple interviews is best. And
of the same person.
of the same person, at least 3 interviews, and preferably, if we're hiring veterinarians, I tell them all, I want you to come spend time with us. I don't want to just talk to you in an interview, ask you questions, and try and fish a few things out. You really can't, if I will, undress a person until you spend some time with them, and they can't undress you until they spend some time with you. So the interview process, really, you need to spend some quality time with them to where some things happen and you can see how they react, they can see how you react, and go from there. Because if you don't, you really aren't going to get to know them very well. So, multiple interviews, spending some time with them.
One of the things that we've talked about this quite a bit. One of the things that you'll even bring in their spouse.
Absolutely.
For the interview.
Absolutely. That's a technique I learned from one of my mentors that I read and follow, Dave Ramsey, is interviewing spouses. It's a very vital, important piece of that pie, because if you're hiring a very important person to your operation, their spouse is going to be part of it, whether you want them or not. They are married to that person. They're going to be married to your operation, and that spouse can drive a lot of things in the wrong or right direction, as many of our listeners already know.
So, multiple interviews, work together if possible, interview the spouse, an inclusive interview system, something Dr. Lindberg recommends. We're going to talk more with Dr. Lindberg here after these messages. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching Doc Talk.
Some call it a come-from-behind victory, an unlikely win, a reversal of fortune, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. This is our moment, our victory dance, because we choose confidence. We choose Zuprevo for BRD treatment. Ask your veterinarian to prescribe Zuprevo. Zuprevo is a fast-acting, long-lasting BRD treatment that you can count on to get the job done. Choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo from Merck Animal Health.
No matter where, no matter why, the Veterinary Health Center at Kansas State University is committed to providing quality patient care to animals and exceptional customer service to their owners. From routine checkups to emergency and specialty care, our world-renowned specialists and experienced professionals are here to discover, to teach, and to heal.
Let us know.
How can I help?
How can we help?
Still using ineffective fly tags on your cattle? It's time to eliminate fleas, ticks, flies, lice, and parasites, and at the same time, give them a shiny coat, making them more valuable. One fly tag can cost $2.50, but you can do this all for about a nickel a head. Introducing the Cow Sprayer, designed and built in the U.S. The Cow Sprayer is portable, solar-powered, and comes with a 25 or 40-gallon tank. Eliminate parasites for about 5 cents a head with the Cow Sprayer. Cowsprayer.com.
In the springtime, cattlemen need to be thinking of preventing important diseases like pink eye. Pink eye prevention includes management factors like good fly control, pasture management, along with a good vaccination program. Eyesight from AgriLabs has broad efficacy coverage as its origin from 8 different field isolates of Moraxella bovis. It is safe, smooth, highly syringeable, safe with young calves and pregnant cows, and provides superior protection against pink eye.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
Hey folks, welcome back to Doc Talk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Nels Lindberg. I'm at Kansas State University. Dr. Lindberg is the owner and operator, is a veterinarian, owner and operator of Animal Medical Center, a member of Production Animal Consultation, good friend of mine, a mentor of mine, someone I bounce a lot of things off of, so it's exciting for me to be able to share him with you. We do a lot of things with our families, do a lot of things that we're very fortunate to share.
We hope they're all good.
Depends on the day. Now, we're talking about employees, human resources, animal health. We get the person hired. You don't call them job descriptions, you call them
KRAs, and that stands for Key Results Areas. And so, we've all kind of grown up or known things such as job descriptions, and you've got line by line by line of the job description. And that's okay, but but I prefer to go to this sort of key results area, and it's very simple. All you do is you try to answer the question. The employee or the team member tries to answer the question with you, or separately and together. What does winning look like in your job or in your position? Because ultimately, that's what we want them to do. We want them to be able to win at their job, to love their job, to enjoy what they do. After all, they're there hours and hours upon end. And if they're not succeeding at their job, they're not going to be happy. They're not going to be there long term. So we want to ask them simply, what do they think winning looks like at this operation? What do they want to do? What does winning look like? There's things that they have to do, but we want to make sure they feel like they're winning at their job.
Well, and then you're giving them ownership. You know, Mr. Engler, when I worked at Cactus, he said, I want everybody that works here to think like an owner.
Sure.
Well, if you allow them the ownership of their their KRA, then they're describing what they want to do and how they feel they best can contribute to owning up to their responsibilities.
Absolutely. They get to have a partial say or a say in what those job descriptions are, or what winning looks like in those job descriptions. And as their leader, their team leader, whatever, you get to help massage those job descriptions or those KRAs and what winning looks like. Obviously, there's some things that they may not always enjoy to do, but it's part of the job. But we have to help them understand that, and also, again, look for their input. And as long as they have some input, they are going to feel that ownership. If they have no input, they won't have the ownership.
And it can get into everything from treating sick cattle to withdrawal times on cattle to making sure there's no residues, making sure that water tanks are cleaned. I mean, there's a whole plethora of things that can be just redundant jobs. But if you make people feel like they're responsible.
I've gone through these exercises with head cowboys and cowboy crews, and typically what you find out, it's with any person. Every person wants to do a great job. But if you'll just take the time to ask them what winning looks like to them in that job, you'll get some very valuable input. Now, are there some people out there that may not give you some valuable input? Of course. And that's up to you as the leader to help to guide them to give you some valuable input. But you'll get great input back, and most likely you'll wind up winning at your job even more if you allow them to help dictate what winning looks like to them.
Great. Well, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to discuss more with Dr. Lindberg on human resources and animal health. More after these messages.
Did you know long-range planning through the checkoff can help keep your business profitable? To successfully pass on cattle operations from one generation to the next, it's important to promote beef and keep farms and ranches profitable. Your beef checkoff helps do that.
I'm Jeff Mingus. I'm from southeast Arizona, where we have a family cattle ranch. I've been in the cattle business my entire life. I can remember the onset of the checkoff program, and when the Beef Council decided to use checkoff dollars to create additional demand for the chuck and the round. And I think that created a significant increase in the price of our product, and I think the beef checkoff has been beneficial for our operation.
So we moved to an area on a national backcountry byway, and because of that, there's a lot of tourists, and they'll stop in sometimes, and we've had a lot of people come out to the ranch. So we take that as a real opportunity to educate people about the beef industry. So we built this catering business when I retired a few years ago. I've used beef checkoff recipes over the last 20 years, but when you're really producing that for the public, it takes on a whole new meaning.
As a young rancher, there was a lot for me to learn when I came back to the ranch. I feel as if the beef checkoff gave me additional tools I needed. The beef quality assurance program has helped teach me how to handle cattle in a more effective manner, a way that's the most beneficial to the cow and the most efficient for the producer.
And I'm really proud to be able to say that the beef industry is reaching out to the consumer. I have this one on my website, Gazpacho Steak Salad. It's very popular. And this is one that millennials like because it's quick, it's fast, and they don't have a lot of time to prepare. And this one has been really popular with men because you ask them, do you like to grill? And of course they say yes, and say, well, here's just a couple of recipes, and they grab them.
We feel really blessed that we have one of our sons, Ben, wanting to carry on the ranching tradition, so he'll be a 5th generation cattle rancher in my family.
It takes vision, dedication, hard work. It takes knowing who you can trust. At Zinpro Corporation, we have more industry-endorsed research behind our trace minerals than any other company. Proof that our patented performance minerals help improve overall animal health and performance. Lots of companies make claims. At Zinpro, we generate results.
Still using ineffective fly tags on your cattle? It's time to eliminate fleas, ticks, flies, lice, and parasites, and at the same time, give them a shiny coat, making them more valuable. One fly tag can cost $2.50, but you can do this all for about a nickel a head. Introducing the Cow Sprayer, designed and built in the U.S. The Cow Sprayer is portable, solar-powered, and comes with a 25 or 40-gallon tank. Eliminate parasites for about 5 cents a head with the Cow Sprayer. Cowsprayer.com.
It's easy to spot the man who uses Synanthic. With lower volume and less waste, Synanthic steps up your deworming routine. Get more deworming with less dewormer at Synanthic.com.
Beringer Ingelheim Vetmedica Inc. knows the importance of beef quality assurance and asks you to step up and get certified. Go to bqa.org for details.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
This segment is brought to you by the Beef Quality Assurance Program and the Kansas Beef Council, improving animal care and beef safety for more than 20 years.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Nels Lindberg. I'm from Kansas State University, and he's a practitioner and owner-operator of Animal Medical Center out in Great Bend, Kansas, talking about animal health and human resources.
That's right.
Why do people quit jobs?
The top 2 reasons people quit their job are, A, we don't give them the right tools to do their job successfully, so that's a must. If you're not giving people the right supplies, the right tools to do their job, don't expect them to do it how you want it to do. And I see this routinely in a lot of operations. You got to give them the tools. Number 2 is we haven't given them crystal clear expectations of what we expect out of them every day. Every day, the daily grind, daily logistics, you've got to let them know what your expectations are and how to carry those things out.
Absolutely. And so tools and expectations, when we do that, there are still people who don't get it, okay? And yeah. We have to remedy that within our operation, and that's either they're going to have to get it or they're going to have to get gone.
Sure. The best way to not have to do that, though, is to make sure you don't hire them. The best way to not fire is to not hire. Gotcha. And that goes back to that initial hiring process that is so very crucial. And firing is not fun for anybody. So, again, I go back to make sure you spend time with these people. Talk to them. Talk to their spouse. Talk to whoever. Don't just hire on a whim, because you may end up firing them. And so that's key, very key, and to not have to fire. But to follow that up, if you have to fire them, you want to make sure you have done everything within your power as their leader to make sure they have had the opportunity to succeed at their job. If you have not done that, then you have failed them as their leader and helping them achieve winning at their job. And so make sure you're looking in the mirror before you do anything to fire somebody, because oftentimes it's your fault. And then number 3, if you have to, make sure you do it with dignity. Do it with pride. Don't hurt them. Don't do it in front of other people. Give them their dignity, give them their pride, and let them go freely, happily.
Well, I was told by a friend of mine he's yet to meet anybody that got fired that didn't know it was coming.
Sure.
You know, both parties know when it's not working, and so to do it with dignity, because it's a small world.
Yeah. If the leader's been a good leader, they know it's coming.
Yep. And it's a constant communication. I know you're a firm believer in over communicating.
Yes, sir.
20 seconds. What would be your take-home message on human resources?
Well, again, spend plenty of time hiring, spend plenty of time interviewing so you don't have to fire them, so you get to know them before you failed in the hire, because that is your fault. And if you fail at the hire, you're probably going to wind up having to eat your crow, and you may have to let them go. And again, that's the #1 key.
Yep. Over-communicate, expectations, tools, and if you got to let them go,
do it with dignity.
Do it with dignity. Folks, thanks for watching Doc Talk today. It's always a pleasure to have Dr. Lindberg on here with us. Remember, always work with your local veterinarian, and if you want to know more about what we do at Doc Talk, you can find us on the web at www.doctalktv.com. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson. Thanks for watching us today, and I'll see you down the road.
Closed captioning brought to you by AgriLabs, the perfect pairing of performance and value. Doc Talk was brought to you by Merck Animal Health, the science of healthier animals.